Hey guys, how's it going? EnteiTainment here. My name is Daniel. Just quickly saying thank you for checking out this video. It means a lot to me and I hope you enjoy it. It is my week 4 team builder as we prep for Dubstep Pengu and his Washington Weaviles. So there's no battles here, just a team builder, but if you're interested, definitely stay tuned. Thanks. Hello, and welcome to my Week 4 CSL Team Builder, where I, the Syracuse Sylveons, are going to be prepping to take on Dubstep Pengu and his Washington Weaviles. And before we jump right into the team I crafted, I'm going to quickly show you guys the mons I was actually drawing from, since this is a draft-based league and I am limited in the number of Pokemon I can actually use. So those Pokemon are Aerodactyl, Volcarona, Gyarados, Infernape, Florges, Bronzong, Trevenant, Togetic, Muk, Claydol, and Tornadus Incarnate. So looking at that, we have a lot of flying types, which leaves us pretty weak to Electric, Ice, and Rock. So we need to be careful about electric types, and we need to be careful about hazards as well, since my most offensive threats, namely Volcarona, but also Aerodactyl, Gyarados, and Tornadus, are all weak to rocks, so we need to make sure that we get hazards off the field as soon as possible, since obviously those things do not appreciate switching into rocks repeatedly. We are also pretty weak to water as well, so if there's any kind of aggressive water type on the other side of the field, it can do some pretty serious work to my team very quickly, so we need to definitely be careful about that. So those are our common weaknesses. We are now going to look at the team that Dubstep Pengu drafted, which is Mega Gallade, Hippowdon, Excadrill, Feraligatr, Chestnut, Eelektross, Cofagrigus, Stoutland, Uxie, Magmortar, and Primeape. So, looking at that, we can see he sort of tried to craft a sand team, which is very interesting. He has Hippowdon to set up the sand, Excadrill to benefit from the sand with Sand Rush or Sand Force, and then Stoutland to benefit from Sand Rush. So that trio there is going to be very threatening, and I think will kind of define his offensive presence. So I feel like he has to bring that trio. I don't think he has a choice. It's really the only synergy I see in his team is that right there, and it is very powerful. So even though I'm pretty sure he's brought that every week so far, I don't think he has any reason not to, especially because Excadrill, who can get Rock Slide, and I think Stoutland probably gets a Rock move as well, will be able to hit a lot of my team, and it's just going to be really scary with Sand Rush. Nothing will really outspeed that, and I think it's just too much for him to say no to. So I think that trio is definitely coming. The Hippowdon is coming, the Excadrill is coming, and the Stoutland is coming. So that leaves 3 more spots on his team. I think one of them is going to be filled by his Mega, just because it's generally a pretty safe pick, and Mega Gallade can get a lot of damage off on my team very quickly. Although I do have no fighting weaknesses, that doesn't mean I want to switch stuff into this thing, especially because it gets Zen Headbutt and a good amount of coverage moves. It gets Knockoff, and it can carry Ice Punch. It could also be Swords Dance, which would be really scary. But I think he kind of has to bring the Mega Gallade just because he can get a lot of damage on my team very, very quickly with that thing. So I think his Mega is probably coming. I think he's also bringing the Feraligatr because of, like we talked about before, I'm pretty weak to water. And the Feraligatr can run Dragon Dance, it can run Swords Dance, and it can do a lot of damage. So if that thing starts dancing, we're going to be a little screwed. So we need to try to shut that thing down before it can do too much damage to my squad. Similar to Gallade, it gets a lot of coverage, so it can hit Trevenant with Ice Punch or Crunch. It can hit Claydol with Crunch or Ice Punch as well, although he'd probably just go for Waterfall on Claydol, since Claydol is weak to water. I guess Togetic is a better example. Togetic is weak to Ice and doesn't really want to take Ice Punches repeatedly. So yeah, I think the Feraligatr is coming, just since it's really only shut down by defensive Gyarados, and even then, Ice Punch is still neutral and still has that potential to freeze, although I guess he's probably running Sheer Force, but still, I don't think Gyarados wants to take Ice Punches over and over, and Gyarados can't really retaliate shy of Thunder Wave or Dragon Tail. So that is why I think he's bringing the Feraligatr, and I think for his final slot, he's going to bring the Electros. I think he's kind of forced to bring a special Pokemon since all of his threats are physical. Almost all of his threats, I should say, are physical. So I think he's going to bring the Electros just because it is an electric type, it has no immunities, and it can kind of freely Volt Switch if he manages to get rid of Claydol, which is chip damage that I can't really do anything about. So I think he'll bring that. He might bring the Magmortar just because I don't have a lot to switch into Fire Blast, and Magmortar can really shut down Volcarona, which I think he will be fearing just because of how I have been using it in the past. I almost always use it as a setup sweeper, since that's what it does, and his team is pretty weak to it. If I were to bring Giga Drain, I could hit almost everything neutrally, I think. So, but Magmortar can obviously take Fire Blast, it can take Giga Drain, it can take Bug Buzz, it resists all of that. So he might bring the Magmortar just to check the Volcarona. So those are the 6 I think he's going to bring, though. I think he's going to bring the Gallade, Hippowdon, Excadrill, Feraligatr, Stoutland, and then maybe Electros, maybe Magmortar. I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to go into my own team that I crafted. I sort of crafted it assuming he's going to bring the Sand team. If he doesn't, I'm actually going to be happy because I'm very threatened by this Sand team. And even though I built a team preparing for it, I will feel much more comfortable going up against him if he chooses not to bring it for whatever reason. So yes, let's just jump into the team builder. I opted for Trevenant, Togetic, Bronzong, Mega Aerodactyl, Claydol, and Infernape. So we're going to talk about the moves, talk about the EVs, and just try to defend myself, talk it through. So first I have a Cursed Trevenant, and I know I've brought Trevenant every time, I think, but I wanted to try this set out since it is not really threatened by anything on his team unless he does choose to bring that Magmortar. Not a lot can hit Trevenant, at least not in a stab fashion. Obviously stuff can still hit Trevenant, like Knockoff or Ice Punch, but in conjunction with Will-O-Wisp, we can kind of shut those things down. So this is a Cursed Trevenant set, which I guess is not very common since I didn't actually see it anywhere on Smogon, which surprises me. I thought it was pretty widely used. But basically, Curse works differently for ghost types, if you guys don't know that. Normally it would raise your attack and defense by 1 and decrease your speed, which we're all pretty used to. We see that a lot. But with ghost types, it actually, you lose half your HP and lay a curse on the opponent. And what that means is the target will lose a fourth of their HP every turn, which is crazy. Especially because I have Citrus Berry, I can go for Curse, heal back up to 75%, and then maybe get another berry and just kind of be around for a while, just cursing everything that comes in. So it sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm hoping it does well, because like I was talking about, not a lot of stuff can hit me super effectively. Or, geez, not a lot of stuff can hit me in a stab fashion. But he's also running Leech Seed and Will-O-Wisp just for that added whittle damage. Will-O-Wisp to also cripple Feraligatr and Gallade, which are really the only 2 things I feel threatened by. And then Leech Seed for HP recovery. And then finally, Phantom Force for my offensive move. This works really well with Curse because I can go for Phantom Force and I'll be sort of off the battlefield for a turn, and they can't attack me, so they'll lose a fourth of their HP and not be able to do damage to me. And then I can come in, hit them with Phantom Force, and get even more damage off on them if they choose to stay in. So Phantom Force is definitely a great move when joined by Curse and Leech Seed, because I also get the Leech Seed recovery even when I'm not on the field. When I'm invisible sort of behind the opponent, I still get the Leech Seed recovery there. So that is all good, and I'm hoping this will do well. I think it will. It'll be able to definitely whittle and cripple a lot of things on his team. So we'll see how it works. I've never tried it before, but I think it'll do well. And then the EVs are just max special defense. In case he wants to run Flamethrower on his Electros, I'll be able to take that pretty comfortably and just proceed to go for a curse. So yeah, that's the Trevenant. I think it'll do well. Fingers crossed. I'm going to get some water because I'm dying. Sorry. Okay, next we have Togetic, who is just sort of your basic defensive set. Can switch into a lot of stuff and take a lot of hits, especially because I'm running Wish. Normally you'd run Roost or Soft Boiled, but I want to try to get some Wish passing going, especially into Bronzong and Claydol, since they are my two other defensive Mons and they don't have any recovery of their own. So getting Wish Pass for added longevity would be a great thing for this team. I'm running Protect just in case I want to get the Wish myself. I'm running Air Cutter for an offensive move, really, and in case he wants to bring Chestnut. Also, Air Cutter can hit Gallade super effectively, although not very hard since I am a Togetic, but it'll be able to hit at least super effectively. And then Thunder Wave is to cripple stuff like the Gallade, like the Feraligatr, like the Stoutland, and is just a good move overall because it will obviously cripple the sweepers on his team and allow my other Mons to sort of handle them more easily. So that's the thought process behind the Togetic. I don't know if Serene Grace works with T-Wave. I think it does. It might only work while I'm actually in, but still, 60% chance to not move is ridiculous. So Thunder Wave seems like a must on this Togetic. I'm sort of taking a risk in not having immediate recovery, but I'm hoping that it still works out just because I really want to be able to pass into my other Mons. One of them being the Bronzong, which pairs pretty well with the Togetic and is obviously very, very specially defensive, so he'll be able to switch into Mons that would threaten Togetic, including the Electros. It could switch in on any of his ground types as well, since I am running Levitate, and I don't think Excadrill will run too much to hit me. He could run Shadow Claw, but I'm not too worried about it. But anyways, this is just your basic Bronzong with Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, Toxic, and Protect. This is going to be used to whittle down various things on his team. It will also be a ground type switch in and will hopefully do me well. It could become a little stally. Maybe if I'm in on Feraligatr, I need to go for a Toxic and then kind of stall him out as he goes for his various dancing moves. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. It's really just here for rocks and to get powerful Gyro Balls off, because this thing's speed is obviously extremely minute. So our Gyro Balls are going to hurt very, very badly. Next up, we have Old Faithful, Mega Aerodactyl, who came up absolutely clutch last battle, connecting on 2 whole Stone Edges and actually winning me the game. So we're going to bring him back. We're going to run a pretty similar set, except with Aqua Tail over Earthquake, because Aqua Tail hits more of his team than Earthquake does, so it just seemed like the way to go. It is sort of bulky, which will allow me to take hits from Electros as well as hits from Magmortar if he chooses to bring it. And further, if he sets up the Sand and this Aerodactyl comes out, his special defense will actually be even higher, since rock types are buffed in the Sand. Their special defense stat is boosted by 1.5, but it might be doubled. I don't think it's doubled, but anyways, my special defense will be very, very high if I do end up setting this thing out when the Sand is up. So that was the thought process there. He is just running Aerial Ace for stab, and because it can hit basically everything that Aqua Tail does not, and it gets the Tough Claws boost, and it's just really his only good physical flying move. If he got Brave Bird, this thing would probably be OU, but he only gets Aerial Ace, Wing Attack, I think Sky Drop, which I really have no interest in running, and maybe one more, but it's not really useful. I think he gets the Sky Attack or something that needs to charge beforehand, so obviously not about that life. So yeah, that's the Aerodactyl. I'm hoping to sweep, because if he does bring the team I'm expecting, if I can Hone Claws enough times, Hippowdon is not going to be taking an Aqua Tail, and obviously neither will Excadrill or Stoutland, and I'm pretty sure I can take moves from those things. I might, excuse me, I might invest defensively a little more. Maybe I'll do some calcs off screen and decide if I need more defense EVs, but I am pretty invested in HP as well, which should allow me to take a good amount of moves. So yeah, that's the thought process there. The EVs are to outspeed Jolly Gallade after I Mega Evolve, so Jolly Gallade hits 350, so I'm going to go ahead and hit 351. I could have EV'd myself to outspeed Jolly's Stoutland in the sand, but actually, I don't even know if I could have. No, there's no way. That's way too fast. I was thinking because I could have ran Jolly's Scarfed Infernape, which actually outspeeds Stoutland by 1 point if he is adamant. But that just seemed like too much. I didn't end up doing that. So, but anyways, that is the Mega Aerodactyl. Excuse me while I get another sip of water. I have been dying today and coughing and tripping over my words. I'm amazed we've made it this far. I have not made it this far yet, so hopefully it continues to go well. This Claydol is really just to switch in to Electros or Magmortar if he brings it, or Uxie, I guess, if he brings it, but he's definitely not going to bring Uxie. So it just has Earth Power, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, and also provides me with Rapid Spin once again. He has EVs and Special Attack just so I can dish out some damage to various things, including Hippowdon. I might be able to hit kind of hard with Shadow Ball. It can hit Stoutland with Psyshock. It just has some pretty good coverage, but I decided for Rapid Spin over a 4th coverage move just because I didn't really feel like running Defog on Togetic. And I still need to be able to get rid of hazards, obviously, with this team. So that was the idea there. I don't think it's going to put in too much work, but it might just end up going for a spin and getting sacked. But if that's how it has to be, then that's how it has to be. And that will bring me into my last, which is a Life Orb Special Infernape. This, I had the 5 mons already listed, and I was kind of just looking around for one that would do me well. And I figured Infernape would be that Pokemon, just because from, not even from +2, if that's a defensive Hippowdon and does not have special defense EVs, I can OHKO with Grass Knot, which would be excellent. Also, he has Priority Vacuum Wave, so if I get up to +2 or +4 or whatever, Vacuum Wave is going to out-prioritize the Stoutland as well as the Excadrill and be able to OHKO those 2 things. So that would be fantastic. And then Flamethrower is just because it's stab and powerful, and will be able to hit the Gallade as well as the Electros. So that is the Infernape. It's just modest Life Orb going for max damage. I didn't need to be Jolly because I outspeed basically everything I need to. And since I have Vacuum Wave, I don't need to be worried about trying to outspeed stuff in the sand. I don't need to outspeed any sand rushers, which I can't do any of these. I can't do that with Life Orb, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that is the team. That was an extremely painful recording. I'm sorry, I tripped over myself so many times, but I've just been getting really frustrated. It took me a really long time to record this, and I honestly don't know why. I just kept coughing and like stuttering, and it was the worst, but somehow we managed to get through it. I don't even know how we did that, but we did. I hope you guys enjoyed the team builder. I will just go through them one more time. Cursed Trevenant, Defensive Wish Passing Togetic, Stealth Rock, Toxic Bronzong, Hone Claws, Mega Aerodactyl, Assault Vested Rapid Spin Claydol, and a special Nasty Plot Infernape, which I'm really excited for since Infernape is one of my favorite mons in the game, and I hope he will do well. I will get one more sip of water and then end the recording. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can leave a like if you did, or a dislike if you didn't. Also, let me know if you prefer these to the actual live team builders. I'm assuming you do, since those ones are like an hour long, and I don't think you want to sit through that. This one took me even longer, this team builder. I had no idea what to bring, and I'm still kind of scared, but I think it'll be okay. So yeah, you can leave any questions or concerns down in the comments section, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And get hyped for week 4. I mean, by the time you see this, the battle will be over, but hopefully the Syracuse Sylveons will be able to continue their win streak. Fingers crossed. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. This has been Daniel, and EnteiTainment out.
Oh yeah, Team Akko was gathering.
You have a full team.
You.
Oh my gosh, I've never been more insulted in my life. How freaking dare you